What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Campus Rundown Show, coming from the one and only Historically Black. Today, y'all, we're gonna switch it up. I'm gonna be your host today. You know, it's your girl B Rook, coming from the biggest, the baddest, the boldest HBCU in Maryland, Bowie State University. Today, I have some amazing co-hosts with me and an amazing guest. Are y'all ready to introduce yourself? Y'all ready to get it going?
Let's get it popping, man. Let's get it popping. You already know what it is. I go by the name MC, hailing, of course, from the same amazing place as B Rook, Bowie State University. Let's get it.
I go by the name of Hadassah, aka Dasa Reigns, coming from all the way of Alabama A&M University. Go Bulldogs! And we have
Hey y'all, it's your girl Ray Reezy. I'm just playing. Hey y'all, I'm Raina Champagne, a junior studying political science with a minor in professional leadership, hailing from the Mecca, Atlanta, Georgia, and of course I attend the Alabama Agriculture and Mechanical University, and I'm a proud member of the Delta chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
You know, you ate with that. You ate with that one. Yeah.
Big Delta. Okay then.
Okay, let's get started off. You want to start with our mental health check, MC?
Of course, since we're just switching roles today. All right, so if we had to think in terms of the weather, right? Describe where your mental health is in terms of using weather terms and why you say that. So for me, I'd say I'm gonna do mainly sunny, fluid clouds. Mainly sunny, fluid clouds. Could be a little better. Some things we're trying to work on, but other than that, I feel great. I'm good. Got some new pants today. Finna get my hair done later on. Finna go host after this. Man, great spirits, man. I can't complain.
cool. I would say I'm feeling a bit sunny, partly cloudy, with highs in the 70s. Lows, I would say in the 50s. You know, it's spring break for me, so I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah.
Period. Well, I'm gonna say, although I'm always smiling, so I'm really sunny by nature. Definitely it just rained, but there's like a rainbow coming through because the sun is out, but it's still like humid and foggy. Like that's like literally like where I'm at for sure.
Okay.
I think I'm feeling the same way as you. Like, I'm a little overcast right now, but like the sun is kind of peeking out, and it's a little bit windy. I don't know what the wind's supposed to mean, but it's a little windy. But you know, the sun's coming out. We getting good. So now, Hadassah, your thing. You know what you always gotta do for us.
So we're going to do the A word, and we're not going to do it towards the end of this episode. So before we start, how's everybody feeling? You know, we had an accountability check last week, and I wanted to know if anybody held up to their accountability from last week. And if y'all remember your accountability check, because I don't remember mine.
Oh, you don't remember?
I don't, being honest.
I think mine, I want to say definitely was working on more content. Was that the one before? I might have been. I don't know. But I want to say it's definitely the one with content. If that's the case, yes, I definitely have been posting more, and definitely it was working on new kind of content. So with me I hosted a cheer competition recently. It was pretty dope. Never did a cheer competition before, but it was kind of like a dance competition. Kind of the same thing, just switch out different product. But no, it was really good. So I think I've definitely been doing a good job holding myself to that, trying to branch out into different things that I'm emceeing and hosting. So yeah, I think I'm doing pretty well. And for my next A word, I think I'm gonna just keep it the same because I can never stop working on it. So I think I just keep it the same, working on different kind of content, putting myself out there more, getting more with LinkedIn. So yeah, keep it the same.
Oh, what about you, B-Rook? Do you remember yours from last week?
I do remember mine. It's been the same one for some weeks now. I halfway. Remember I told you I had them 2 papers right? I got one. I got one done.
Yes,
a win is a win. But the other one is getting done tonight because y'all, I've been on these Celsiuses bad. But it gets the job done.
Yes.
So definitely that. I don't remember what else I said, but I think for this coming up week, get the other paper done and smash these midterms. Y'all, I'm kind of nervous about this Pilates midterm because it's like 40 stretches and I know like 3. But
you gotta know like the stretches off rip.
Yeah, you gotta know the breaths. You gotta know the principles of Pilates. Like y'all. You gotta know what
Glad,
where your feet
glad
are.
I ain't take it.
What?
But yeah, so halfway did my accountability check, but next week it's gonna be all the way for real, like for real this time, y'all. What about you, Hadassah?
What was mine? I think mine's was, I know, definitely making up some midterms that I had to do because midterms was the week before last week for us at A&M, and maybe trying to tackle some content for YouTube. Um, did I get that done? No, but I definitely did make up those midterms, and I passed all of my midterms.
Bow,
Amen.
bow, bow, bow.
Amen.
But my accountability check for this week is to finish my FAFSA because I haven't finished my FAFSA.
Do
Yay.
that ASAP.
Me
And
too.
do that last week ASAP.
Since I have nothing but time on my hands, I'm going to do that. I'm also going to help one of my younger cousins apply for some scholarships since she will be attending Florida A&M University in the fall. And what else?
Shout out to Rattler.
Apply to more scholarships for myself and just study for this exam that I have next week, Monday, when I do get back. But
Ooh.
before we actually get started, Raina, did you have any accountability checks that you did last week on your own?
I can say the one I said with y'all the week before was to clean my room. And
Did
it's
you
Mhm.
do it?
hard. And I made sure, y'all, before I got on the road back home, oh, that room is clean to the T.
Mhm.
Like, I was so happy. I mean, like, it's clean to the T. Matter of fact, I cleaned the whole apartment. So I'm really happy.
Period.
I think I tackled some assignments that was on my accountability, but I definitely did all my midterms. So yeah, y'all, it's looking up. Probably
Okay.
just got homework, but I ain't had no spring break work, so we
Period.
good.
The Lord is good. The Lord is good.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, we gonna check in again next week, y'all. Let's do good, better next week, better than this week. Let's all
Right.
the way lock
No
in. So
promises. No promises.
promise, promise.
No.
That's real. That's
Okay,
real.
but we're gonna go ahead and get into our topic today. We will be discussing for the people who are not Greek but have interest in joining. So they're looking for some insight from the experts, of course. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to start off with like if all of y'all could go with like how, like I would say, your journey in before you were Greek and then getting into it and like how it all started for you. I don't know any volunteers who wants to start today. I say ladies first. No shade, MC.
Hey, listen. You got it. I'm Gucci.
I'll go, y'all.
I was gonna say, do our guests want to go tonight? I think,
Yes.
yeah.
Sure. So I would say, how did my journey start? Okay, well, first and foremost, all my life, one thing I live by is always be yourself, no matter where you at, what room you in. And for my first year and even to my second year, I was literally myself in every room. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I grew up very Haitian American. So I didn't know none of this. I didn't know, anything such as Greek meant till the first time I stepped foot on A&M campus. And for me, I was just like, oh wow, like this organization, like the way these ladies are moving, like it looks as though like this is bigger than themselves. So for me, it was kind of just like a chess move of where do I want to align myself for the woman that I'm literally sculpting once I graduate. So I kept, I guess you say, going to different events that catered to me. Like, I didn't just go to every event because I seen, oh, Delta Sigma Theta. No, I went to events where I felt as though I would get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And at events, I would always be myself. If I had a question, my book will always ask the question.
Mhm.
And I always just felt like somebody sees me. Like somebody sees me. I have such a vibrant and loud personality that when I do, sit in a room, it's not that, oh, I take the attention. It's just like you feel the aura, like you feel like, yeah, Ray's here. Oh, and I just kept that in mind. And when it was my time to further and make my decision, I went all the way out. Like, I made sure everything I submitted reflected what they seen in person, like 100%. It was no, oh, selling a false narrative of who Raina Champagne was,
Mhm.
because I knew there was going to be an interview part. And I was just like, if I lie on this paper, when I
Mhm.
get to the interview, I'm not going to be able to keep up the lie. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And
That's
that's,
important.
I was like, he can back me up. That's literally the culture, especially of Divine Nine. Like, you must know yourself before you get to that threshold, because you're going into a shift that you don't even know. Like, you don't know at all. You couldn't even know if you tried.
Mhm.
So I was just always myself. And yeah, I was one of the ones. I had the GPA, I had the you know, attributes, and I got selected. And from there, it has been the same. I'm always a leader in every room. Now I'm just Raina the Delta, but it's still Raina Champagne the brand always. So.
Period.
So I
Yeah.
have a question to piggyback off what you were saying. So like you said, you didn't know anything about Greek life until you got to school. So like, how did you know what to do when you realized like that you were interested? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you didn't know, but did you have friends that were already Greek coming in? Oop, is she still here?
The devil. It's the devil trying.
Yeah.
Gotta be
It's to be having a good conversation, and the devil is trying to. You know what I
too
mean?
good.
What's that TikTok sound that's like, we're having technical difficulties? We
Yeah.
having tech, tech,
That-
tech, tech. Yup, she's having technical difficulties.
Okay. Well
So
then,
what was the first question though? Because I definitely wanted to answer that.
basically like, what was your Greek journey like, starting off all of that and then into it?
Okay. From my perspective, before joining my organization, which is Phi Beta Lambda Business Fraternity Incorporated, I'm a part of the Xi chapter on the campus of Alabama A&M University. And prior to joining Phi Beta Lambda Business Fraternity Incorporated, this was something that I definitely was interested in, mainly because of my career goals. That's what resonated me. That's what resonated me with the organization. Um, and prior to joining it, like I said, I definitely, went to events. I reached out to some of the members, but I reached out to those members who I can see myself like to get their perspective, to see if this can resonate with me. Nevertheless, with going to these events, I wanted to know if this is something that I wanted to do, not just seeing from the website and learning information and history or just seeing from social media. That's definitely important. And after joining this organization, I can say that I have made so many connections and I have met so many people in my life that I'm just grateful for and that I can see a relationship with and a connection with post graduation. So that's definitely something that I'm grateful for upon joining my organization.
MC, I'm going to pass the same question to you, and I'm gonna ask y'all all the same next question.
How do I get into it? All right. So boom. It's really in high school. That's kind of where I started getting more exposed, like HBCU culture, college culture, Greek, all that. I was on the step team all 4 years of high school, and some of the coaches and the alumni that would come back and teach us, some were Kappas, some were Sigmas, some were Qs, some were Iotas. Um, but the main coach that I always resonated with, and he was the coach that pretty much taught us up until I graduated, was Alpha. Shout out to Ray John. And we also connected because like his name was Ray John, my name is Majon. So that was already off rip. But upon like being on the team and getting to know him and just being up under him, because our coaches and like alumni come back, they're like big brothers. You know what I mean? So there was already that kind of bond that was being built there. I had a college coach who was an alpha as well, and he was a very big. There's actually two college coaches that were alphas that were very big help to me. So there was already the kind of that seed planted, and then getting to college, I thought about it, but I wasn't like super sure about it. It's funny. I tell people all the time, the way I became an alpha, don't ever follow the path of me, because I didn't really go to events. I didn't really speak to a lot of the brothers. It was only like certain ones I had more so a good relationship with. And sometimes it's really all you need. Sometimes it's really all you need, because the people I built relationships with, one is my ADP. Me and him was tight before Alpha even became a thing. And when I seen him probate, and he's ace, same height as me. So when I seen he did it, I was like, okay, if he could do it, I could do it. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
it's my man. But yeah, really just taking that journey and like making that relationship and just being personal with folks. Like I tell people all the time, same way you get me in this setting, same way I'm on stage, it's all the same MC. It's really no difference for real. And really, like one of my big bros, he literally said, like when they was having the meeting deciding folks, he was like, yo. And they say he's like his like word is like a golden ticket in a sense. If he bang with you, cool. Shout out to Gomez. He was like, yo, him right there, he cool. Get him. And everybody was like, yo, you sure? Like, we don't even know him like that, bro. He was like, bro, he's good. Because he could already see the kind of stuff I was doing with hosting and being in the Solier, just like the kind of name and reputation I was building for myself. And then since then, like, it's really just been that same thing of me doing the work of Alpha, me building my brand of Project MC. Like, since being Greek, yes, I've utilized it to build my brand and to have like you go through the neo phase of doing all the Greek stuff. I'm at the community service. I'm at the meeting and that. But since then, it's like okay, you near the end of your college career. You really got to decide like what is your brand outside of Greek. You know what I mean? Being Greek can't be your biggest accomplishment. When you first do it, of course, it's like one of the biggest things ever. But it's like okay, it's like business. Once you hit a certain goal, yo, you in the black. Okay, how can I now capitalize off of that? It's the same exact thing with life. Like everything just leads to one thing. I would say that me being Greek has helped me to get to some of these things. Me being Greek helped me get here because my line brother. You know what I mean? So it's like you get there and yes, you bask in the moment, you live in it, you do what you got to do. But so I'm always about, okay, what's next? And thinking what comes ahead. And I just hate to see people who like become Greek and that's like their only accomplishment in life and they hold on to that because it's like, no, this is only a stepping stone to what else God has for you. But
Right.
yeah, I got in it. I tell people all the time, yeah, don't go to the meetings, go to the events and stuff. Don't be like me that don't go to nothing because I went to like one event. Yeah, don't be like me. Don't be like me. Shout out Alpha though. Hey, what?
Oh my gosh, MC.
I'm serious, but I tell interest that all the time. Don't do what I did because you might not get lucky.
That's real. That's
But
real.
Ray, like I was asking you before we started having a few technical difficulties, I know you have mentioned that you didn't have any prior knowledge to Greek life before going to college. So I was asking, like, how did you get into, like, how did you get that knowledge once you got here or once you got to school?
For sure. So I would say, apart from seeing them, the research behind it, like once it started like lingering in my mind, like, okay, this is something you may want to do. I did research, of course, on all the sororities, and then I started doing research on the chapter. So I was like, a lot of people sometimes like they get to college and they like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But
Facts.
it's like, hold on.
Facts.
there's nationals, right? But you have to do research on that chapter. And it's
Right.
like that chapter, I think that's probably the best advice I will give anybody is learn the culture of that chapter because that is your first entrance, first taste of what the life commitment would be. And it's like if that chapter basically doesn't like cultivate you and bring you up in a way, that's welcoming and loving, you'll probably, you know what I'm saying, not want to be apart for the rest of your life. So once I started getting that culture of who the Delta chapter was, and I'm not saying, oh, I was able to Google like the Delta. No, like I was literally talking to, like, for instance, I knew the president. I had actually worked with the president in another setting, and I was just learning her. Like I wasn't asking her about no Delta, nothing. I was literally learning her as a person. Like we would hang out, and I'm like, if I didn't like her, or maybe if I didn't hang out with her, then it could have been different. It could have been a different story. But I was like, I respect her as an individual, and I felt as though like I could see some of myself in her, and like vice versa. Like one thing that struck me is she was learning Reina for Reina. Like she never tried to question me. She never tried to like, bring Greek into the story. Like she never did. And for that, I was just like, okay, like she knows she's a part of something, but that's not her selling. Like that's not her front face. Like she can talk to herself and not bring that up. And I just felt like from there, I was like, okay, cool. And then it would be me thinking back, like from home, of who I knew as Deltas. And I had started remembering like their vibe and their spirits and stuff like that. And luckily, one of the girls that I went to high school with, crazy how life come in full circle, went to high school together. Um, she graduated, and I was going into my sophomore year. Boom, she got a scholarship to go to A&M. I turned around, got the same scholarship my senior year. Boom, when I got to school, realized, oh snap, she's a part of the chapter. I'm like, oh, we already, you know what I'm saying, locked in. And from there, she was like, it was kind of like mentor mentee type relationship at that point. And I was like, bro, she's a great individual, like she's a great like woman in itself. And I was like, yeah, that mean that chapter, they doing something good if everybody's like producing the same kind of, like, I guess you could say endeavors or just spirits amongst like everybody. Like they were really welcoming, and they was always out doing the job. Every time I seen them, boom, they're at an event. Although they rep in Delta, they was always helping set up the event, taking down the event. And I'm like, oh, this stuff I do already, you know what I'm saying? So it just went from there. Like a little conversation will go so far. But people be trying to act like you see letters on somebody, they robots.
Facts.
And I'm like, all right, bro. Guess you're not the lucky ones because you can't say, hey, how are you? Like, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And from there, like,
What
lock it.
about you? I'm sorry.
You good.
What about you, Dasa? Like, what was your experience coming in? Did you have any prior knowledge, or did you just find out once you got to campus?
So actually, just like MC, I was actually on a step team my freshman and sophomore year of high school. So I did get introduced to Greek life then, but coming from a Caribbean background, I am Haitian. I didn't grow up having that knowledge, having that experience about that. So I was blessed enough with two of my step coaches to introduce me into Greek life in general, whether if it's a D9 organization or a non-D9 organization. And from then, I always knew that I had a passion to just go out and be a part of an organization that's bigger than me, if that makes sense. But yeah, that was pretty much it for me. I didn't have too much knowledge about it, but of course I applied myself, which is very, 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 very important. I did my research and I'm in love with Phi Beta Lambda Business Fraternity Incorporated, y'all.
MC, I know you touched on it a little bit, but did you have any more to add, like regarding coming in and getting knowledge?
Well, all right. So I don't want to make it seem like the chapter just picked me and had no knowledge of me, right? So I did do my research prior. Like I said, I had a lot of coaches, a few coaches that were alphas, and of course researching, especially finding out like some of the notable members. Dr. King was the biggest one that stood out. Lionel Richie, Omari Hardwick. So especially once I started finding people who were like into music and entertainment, that's why I was like, okay, this I. I mean, this is the field that I want to go into. And then like again, I said some of the bros, my ADP, that was my man's before I even got into it. And a few other bros who I had some relations with, who I was cool with. They didn't treat me as if like, and you mentioned it a little bit, how it's like some folks might be standoffish because they have letters or not. They didn't treat me as such. So yeah, doing that knowledge and just having that feeling afterwards, everything like I said, the cherry on top was when my ADP crossed and being outside that probate in the freezing cold. I'm like, dog, mind you, that's my first probate ever. So I'm like, yo, what is it? Like, it's hard. You know what I mean? I'm like, dog, if he can do it, bet it's up. I know that this just gotta be my sign. I'll never forget, it was me and my tail. Me and him went to high school together. And that very moment, we both knew our ADP. He was like, "Yo, next time come around, it's me and you." We didn't know we would be ace and tail, and that was the funny part. But we just both knew in that moment, 419 probate, like, yeah, next time around it's going to be our time. And come spring 21, hey man, yeah.
I know we've already like kind of discussed on how you all like expressed your interest for your fraternity or sorority, but like for people watching who are not Greek, would you give any other tips to help them?
What I'd say, well, to those who may be just joining in, welcome. We're talking about things to know if you're interested in becoming Greek. interested in joining a Greek organization, these are some good things for you to know.
Mhm.
I would definitely say, Raina, I really love what you say about being yourself in all the settings. Like, I think that's so important because certain folks will try to put on a facade for the people, whatever organization they want to join, and to really make it seem like there's something they're not. And it's like, dog, you can be putting on this front for us, but if you have a different reputation on campus that says something completely opposite, these people ain't got no reason to lie
Literally.
about. Yeah, I mean, if they know that, oh, you be at all the parties getting drunk and just completely wasted when I, it's like, come on, you can't try to lie your way out of. We got you on camera, my boy, my girl. You know what I mean? But I really just want to double down on that. Like, yo, at the end of the day, it's not the letters that make the people. It's the people that make the letters. And the great thing about these organizations is that there is no necessarily one kind of person that can join these orgs, because you can be great in whatever you are doing. So you can have people in these orgs that are actors, that want to be lawyers, that want to be doctors, that want to do this, do that. So it's like you don't have to try and be one kind of person, especially because you never know which you can really add to the chapter until you sit down and think about it. Like, what's is it really going to help if you're trying to be like who they already have in the chapter? No, it's not. I
Mhm.
tell people all the time, think of it like a business. How can you, because at the end of the day, all our stuff has incorporated at the end. So we all have a business to some degree. How can you add to our business? How can you make us better? How can you make the chapter better, which then makes the organization better? I just think once you look at it from that point of the business plan, like look at the events that the chapter does on campus, right? Think of how you can make those events better. Think of what else you can add that the chapter isn't already doing. Like when you think of things like that and not just be like, oh, I want to join this organization just because I want to die. It's like, okay, that's cool, but why should we pick you? Yeah, you know what I mean, I think these are just great ways to look at it and not just look at it from I hope they pick me because I know you come and you come with a full proof plan that like, yo, we can do we all if I was to join, we could do X, Y, and Z. I can add this, that, and that, and you know your information, and you have the grades. It's like, bro, and you a cool person, like we vibe. It's like at that point, you make basically make yourself undeniable at that point. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, MC, you literally took the words out of my mouth. One thing that you didn't touch on, and I think Ray maybe touch on it a bit better than what I may say, is basically knowing your purpose and knowing your why. That is
Right.
extremely important. For me, for example, me understanding my purpose and my why mainly had to do with my career aspirations. You know, always find something that resonates with you. It just simply can't be the colors of the organization, the way the letter looks on a line jacket. You know, the people in the organization, definitely resonate yourself with that organization. And if it's just not for you, then hey, it's not for you. And
Right.
I'm not saying that to throw shade or just to be
Okay.
shady. If it's not for you, it's not the end of the world. There are multiple different organizations out there. You just have to apply yourself, know your why, and know your purpose.
Hmm. Yeah, ditto to both of y'all statements for real. The only thing I would like add is to be optimistic about like time. Like a lot of people think, yo, if I don't make it in undergrad, that means it wasn't my calling. That's not
Yes.
true. Like
Yes.
sometimes you not doing it in that chapter is probably what's gonna save you in the long end.
Mm-hmm.
Cause when I say it's a lifetime commitment, it's a lifetime commitment. Like there's no way an organization has lasted over 100 years if people was in the organization thinking about themselves. There's no
Right.
way. And you couldn't tell that story to me even if I was asleep. So that's why I say you literally had to be optimistic. If your time isn't an undergrad because you didn't mature all the way, you didn't know where you wanted to go. Okay,
Mhm.
so be it. Still do research, still, you know what I'm saying, support or whatnot. And when it's your time, best believe you're gonna have 10,000 supporters. Cause they'll know at that point, oh, nah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
This waiting a long time. He's been waiting a long time. And another thing, it's like don't try to sell that false narrative. Like I think a lot of times when people see letters, they're like, oh, let me just run up to the first person. No.
No.
Find
No.
a person that you could see from the corner of the room, like, okay, I slick along with them. I like how they just said that. They very
Mhm.
timid. They're a very tranquil person. Boom. That's the person you probably should approach. You're not allowed, you know what I'm saying, personality kind of person. Why are you about to go introduce your tranquil self to that loud person? And if people keep them foundational, like basic relationship skills, you know, it'll help them in the long end, in the long run. And and once you find that person, it also kind of makes you not want to do that I don't want to say kiss up kind of thing, but yes,
Mm-hmm.
all that you really trying to get them to like you. Relax. Relax. The organization is bigger than yourself. It's not do they like you, it's are you a good fit to be an asset to this organization for the rest of your life. That's what the question is.
Right.
So all that kissing up, you you doing it for the wrong reason, bro. Doing it for the wrong reason. You have not understood clearly why this organization has been here over 100.
Hello. Hello.
And Raina, I'm so glad you are bringing this up because, especially to that point of trying to kiss up, a lot of times for a lot of different orgs and their chapters, folks are just picking their friends,
Yes.
and that's where you start to see. And we about to go off on a tangent. I hate to do this, but just for a little
Do
bit.
it. Do it.
A lot of times, because now we gotta talk to the Greeks real quick. A lot of y'all be picking y'all friends,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's
you just doing it just because they cool. You doing it just so you can get a certain kind of look for your chapter, and you already clicked up. It's like, dog, that's not the purpose of these organizations. You don't want to bring people in that's you just cool with them just for the cool. No, who's going to put on programs? Who is going to do the community service? Who is going to do the work? And it's like, no, stop putting uh people in your chapter that's just there to wear a t-shirt, can't even go and do a stroll at a school, dog. It's like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
pick smarter. If founders were alive right now, they would be definitely frowning upon a lot of the different practices that have been going on in Greek life, especially as of recently. It's like everybody's doing it to be TikTok famous and to make TikToks and the letters and stroll and challenges.
Hey.
No, wear your programs, wear your work. Stop picking your friends. Your friend may be a good person for the chapter, but you're
Mhm.
picking them just because they're your friend and not because they're actually a viable candidate and just so happen to be your friend. There's a disconnect at that point. And at that point, yeah, the letters to you mean something that they should not mean at all.
That's
Mic drop. Mic drop. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to go, but I see it so much. And it's like, I'm seeing that buoy. I'm seeing that colleges around here. It's like, dog,
yeah.
why are you Greek? You somebody else can have your spot.
Literally. That's why I also say respect yourself. Like respect
Facts.
yourself, because if you did, you wouldn't sell yourself. You wouldn't be putting yourself in these predicaments to
Mm-hmm.
align something you're not. Like it, girl, boy, if listen, didn't get chosen the first time, don't go, you know what I'm saying, somewhere else just because you trying to fill this void. No, like I hate somebody who simply just wants to be any form of a t-shirt wearer. Like I just need some kind of letters and that's just gonna validate my entire existence. What? Like if that was the case, just go ahead, you know what I'm saying, print out some random letters and put it together. Like
Right.
you don't have to go through a whole process of, oh, the line about to come out, boom, I'm going to these
Mm-hmm.
events, making a funk for what? Because there's somebody out there that know the real you, the real the light, and that's gonna be the shut down. Like that's gonna take you out the game. Even, and this is even to the people that's already Greek. There's
Mm-hmm.
some who knew you before you was Greek, and they know you now.
Mm-hmm.
Today, that everything gonna
Preach,
come.
sister. Preach.
Everything gonna come to light, and you're gonna be sitting there looking like, oh, this is them with letters, this is them without letters, and all these new people that you don't form friends, baby, they gonna be questioning big time. But people don't be thinking that, like they don't be
Mm-hmm.
thinking at all. And I don't know why. It really don't make sense. Don't be a t-shirt wearer out there, y'all. And
Amen.
don't show interest to become a t-shirt wearer. Put in the work. These organizations have been around so long for the betterment of the society, not no one's self gratification. Like,
Y'all
Amen.
spit right now, man.
can't
But I'm
you
gonna
can't
remind
you can't fake the funk.
MC said it. But I'm gonna rewind back a little bit. I know like all of y'all have big personalities. What would you tell the people who are a little bit shyer but are still interested? Like, what's something that they can do to kind of put them in the position as someone who has that bigger personality and is like easier, not even easier to like, I don't want to say easier to be seen in a room or in a space, but easier to be seen in a room or a space.
I
mm,
I think that when it comes to the shy people, because right, everybody may not have the personality of like me, Raina, Hadassah. Some folks maybe a little bit more. I have some like line
mm,
brothers in particular, who's like more on the quiet end and reserved. But it's like once you got to know him, he was cool. He showed his personality, but like up first, he would just be like reserved. And with him, um, he had been trying for a while. Like he was going to the events, going to the interest meetings, and he built. I think this is the most important part. He established some form of relationships with a lot of different brothers. Like he wouldn't necessarily be like the one you notice at the event, but so maybe remember that he was always at everything. He was
Mm-hmm.
always at least speaking to the brothers, like, "Hey, how you doing, man? Just introduce himself. Nothing like, hey, I'm interested in that." Because once you at our event, we a lot of times we know why you're there. You know what I
mm,
mean? But just keeping it real cool and cordial and just
Mhm.
showing up and showing face. And sometimes you'll people will know this in life. Sometimes just showing up is all it takes. You ain't gotta do a whole bunch of extra stuff. You ain't gotta be super loud, try to be noticed. Like sometimes just showing up is all that it takes because people remember that. Yeah, I mean, people remember if you're showing up to everything, you're at least trying. So I think for that, it's just like, just still show up. I mean, even if it's one or two people, you may just introduce yourself to. Just simple as that. Hey, my name is such and such. I really enjoyed the event. That's all it got to be. You just keep showing up and you making sure you're doing your part on the other end. Like you know your information, you have your GPA, things like that. 9 times out of 10, folks gonna remember that. Like, oh, it was always this person who showed up, who was on time to the event, who might have stayed the whole event. You know what I mean? So I think just showing up. It's just you can apply that in life. Just keep showing up to things until it's your time. And like Raina said, sometimes it may be your time outside of undergrad.
Mhm.
If you really want it that bad, you'll continue to do the work to go and get it after you graduate. It's the same thing. Just keep showing up. Just keep showing up, and eventually, you'll see some fruits of your labor to be reaped.
Yeah.
yeah, that. I would say same. Like, I have a lot of tranquil, timid sisters, and when I like reflect back and of course we have talked and stuff like that, it was that same thing. They showed up at the event. They would probably be the ones as soon as they said picture, they probably ran out just because like there's some people who, as soon as they hear picture camera, they have anxiety or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But they did like say like when I would maybe see somebody at breakfast or lunch, they said sometimes I would just say, "Hey, good morning." Like they would just do simple things like that. "Hey, good morning." Um, some was like I would compliment them if because we have this thing called every Sunny Wednesday. So like on basically the Sunny Wednesday, we all meet up on the quad and like some was like, yeah, I would see them on the quad and I would just say, hey, I would just say, hey, I would just always especially if it's one of them that like you knew or had class with. Like they was like they would always say hey, they would always maybe compliment or whatever, but they didn't do too much. Like they didn't go out of the way. Cause at that point it's like you really not aligning yourself with, being timid or being the one that's hiding in the room type beat. So they never did too much. Um, never did too much and I would say there's always a little you can give, like saying good morning, hey, you look nice today, holding the door. There's always something little you can do. Even like if you can't stand up in the room and ask a question because you're scared to introduce yourself. That good morning could have shifted her whole day or his whole day. Like
Mm-hmm.
they won't hey, hold on, that was little, you know what I'm saying, that
Mhm.
made my morning today, that made my afternoon, and then boom, later that day, you at their event. And that's why I said, for the, new watchers, I had said there's always somebody who see you. I don't care what Greek event you go to. There was somebody that's wearing them letters that was once you in that crowd. And they knew how it felt, and they know how it is like to be that person that's in the corner of the room that don't want to be seen, or that is probably not going to be seen. There's somebody that aligns with you that already has those letters in every room. There's not one Greek event, bruh, that you see all everybody with letters speaking. No, I know I have sisters. I know MC definitely has brothers that usually is in the back of the room.
Back background,
You know,
and that's
so
what they thrive.
literally, and that now I'm saying sometimes that be their job. Hey, just watch the room. Watch the room just in case somebody raise their hand, but they're not in the front and we don't see. Let us know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
people do watch at these events of who's here, who's really at this event to gain something. And 9 out of 10, the most quietest in the room usually be the ones paying attention the most. So I would definitely say don't think you got to step out of yourself to make your presence known. Like, be yourself. Somebody sees you. Somebody, and they gonna remember. They
Back.
gonna remember this time.
Dasa, you have anything to add on that one? Because we have a question from Instagram.
Ooh,
No, not really. Y'all both literally said it all because I didn't want to just be repeating you guys. So
Okay.
I feel like, hold on, what were we talking about before we started, Hadassah? You
so
mentioned some good point.
basically I had a perspective in everybody, and this is for also the people who are just now joining. I had a perspective, and this may not only be at my campus in my university, but I had the perspective of social Greeks versus D9. And not to throw them at each other, but a lot of people don't realize that, how would I say this? And I hope that this is not coming off the wrong way. But at the end of the day, all of these organizations do have Greek letters. And to be quite transparent, when I first joined Phi Beta Lambda Business Fraternity Incorporated, I did have the I did have the thought and the perspective of just like, I'm joining this organization, but I still feel like a GDI. And that's because the Greeks on my campus, the Greeks on my campus who are a part of the Divine Nine, they don't really make us feel love like we're one whole big Greek family, whether if you're an SG Rho or you're a Sigma or you're a part of an engineering fraternity or whatever it may be. I just didn't feel that from all of the other Greeks. And as I started to develop more into my organization and learning more about my organization, I found out that it didn't have to be like that, honestly. Um, I don't want to get tongue tied because I have so many thoughts on this. And if it's like this at your university, I'm not gonna say it's okay, but I'm pretty sure Raina maybe can kind of touch on it just a little bit because she does go to A&M. So kind of tell me your perspective of, like the social Greeks and the D9s.
okay. Great. So, one thing I'm gonna say, uh, when I wasn't Greek at all, the culture at A&M was very, we're gonna be welcoming to all, but once you associate or are part of an organization, understand that you still have your name, but people always will, uh, um, associate that organization. That's pretty much everywhere in this world. As soon as you are under a group, that group is with you wherever you go. Boom. So that's how A&M already is. Now, being that I am a Delta now, one thing I can say is I have seen that culture. I have seen that culture, and it's not just so versus Divine Nine. It would be Divine Nine in itself versus Divine Nine. And if
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, if you know already how society makes us Divine Nine versus Divine Nine, and being on a campus where I had to remind several individuals we're under one NPHC. Understand, We under one council. So a lot of people like to say Divine Nine. We're under one council. Okay. When they fight for us and they have international meetings, it's one camp, it's one council. And all representatives are there and they're discussing for, their organization or not. So now once I had already expressed like, yo, we want council, what's up with all this versus each other, then it became addressing the social Greeks versus the Divine Nine. And I think the problem is wholeheartedly social Greeks don't, I don't want to say don't understand the history, but they, I want to say they don't respect it all the way. Yes, you have letters, but your organization was built on this for this cause. You have this council over here that has 9 organizations that fundamentally were built to fight, you know what I'm saying, similar causes. It's not, oh, we was created for this reason. If you look up all Divine Nine, they align with some of the similar fights.
Mm-hmm.
Fight for the ones that have no voice. So it's like there's already that rapport there. Where as in a social Greek, are you setting up to fight for people? Like, are you setting up to speak for the voiceless, or is your pitch just I'm doing community service? I'm servicing my area. Whereas in you're trying to be on this same line with individuals that are fighting for society in itself, not just another Delta, not just another Sigma, but they're fighting for all people. So once you realize, like, bro, we find a whole different fight. Why are you still trying to align yourself as if we on the same battlefield? Like I feel like truly at A&M, there's this like synchronization that is trying to happen, but it's not built like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
globally, it's not. So why are you
Mm-hmm.
trying to do it just on this HBCU campus? This is a lifetime commitment. This is not a commitment. Like, and I felt, and at once you get to that point, that's when I felt as though social Greek would understand why we don't welcome you all as if we're on the same line, because truly we're not on the same line. I'm not saying, oh, Divine Nine is better than social Greeks. We both have reasons around it and we're doing the work, but do not present yourself as if you're fighting that same work. You're not. You're not fighting the same fight as me, but you're trying to be my friend, like we on the same battlefield. And I don't think that's cool, because you wouldn't open your hand to somebody like, if social Greeks were in the place of Divine Nine, would you do it? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't, because you're not on the same battlefield. You're not.
Can, can I say this though? You have said everything so respectfully, and I respect that 100%. And even as a member of a social Greek, it has definitely broadened my perspective more. Like, and to anyone that's watching who's a part of an organization that is a part of the Divine Nine or a social Greek organization, like, I can definitely say, if it didn't broaden your perspective, then you need to go back and rewatch the stream after that. Yeah.
Yeah, and after, as even after, if that understanding is established, I'm pretty sure we could be more cohesive. We could do kumbayas. But if social Greeks is trying to pitch this like camaraderie or relationship as we need to be accepted, you need to accept us, let us be in, that's not cool. Because yeah, you already are Greek and you have letters, but remember, but there's thousands of people that want to be in our organization too. So we gotta, you know what I'm saying, be cautious with them. Like, hold on, you know what I'm saying? We can't just be so welcoming and so like, let's do this together. It's not it's kind of just like a, you want to be invited to a cookout. Like, that's that's how I can say it. And I feel as though if more people come with like the mindset that we're sharing, then the climate will definitely change. It'll definitely change. But what our profiles, have put in place,
Mm-hmm.
is definitely hard, to reverse as soon as we get in. But I can say now, even how the council has been moving, we're not Divine Nine versus Divine Nine as much. So I know that means we on the way to being more open and more cohesive. cohesive. So Shagri, um, shouldn't be versus Divine Nine in the coming years, but we have to keep that culture. Like we literally have to keep that shift. You cannot come in thinking, yeah, this is what my pros did, so I'm gonna keep that same energy. What? No, you're tripping.
MC, you have any input on that?
I think Raina just killed that
No,
entire segment. I think to Hadassah's point, she said it very, very respectfully. Um, I would just add that I think everything just starts with a conversation and not having a conversation and not listening to respond, but listening to understand. Um, I think everything just starts with there, and I think sometimes a lot of different things, um, depending upon like the purpose of organizations, a lot of times we can work in cohesiveness with certain things. But I agree, sometimes it's just a matter of just understanding that we may be serving two different fights and understanding what those fights are and realizing that because I'm fighting this, it's like if I'm working 100 hours a day on this and you work 50 hours a day on this, why is it the same? And not to say that it's anything less, but again, it's just a matter of understanding the different roles. Just everybody has roles in society, and there should be no reason, especially at HBCUs, right, to where we can't collaborate and work together on things. It doesn't always have to be, well, I'm part of this, you're part of that, so let's go head to head. It's like no, a lot of times we can work together on these things to accomplish sometimes similar goals. So yeah, I think everything just starts with having a conversation and listening to understand, not just respond. But
amen.
yeah,
Amen.
Raina just she's killed it. You got it. You got it, big dog. Big Delta Delta. You got it. You got it.
I feel like y'all said some very insightful things tonight. Would y'all like to give the watchers, the viewers, any final tips, any word of advice, anything to leave them with?
Oh, um, there was a question. Someone did say, "What if you're a naturally hyped person and it's misinterpreted as sucking up?" I feel like if that's truly your personality, the world is always going to show. Don't worry about trying to tone yourself down. We've been
Hmm.
saying all about the episode. Just be you, big dog. Just be you, because nothing's new under the sun. There's probably someone else who's just like you. So whether you're a shy person, whether you're a naturally outgoing person, so long as you remain your authentic self, that's all you can do. That's all you got to do.
That's all you can do. That is so true, 100%. Be yourself. If we didn't say nothing else that was important, just remember that. Be yourself through thick and thin. That's all you got. You, yourself, and I, like Beyonce said. Me, myself, and I.
That's all I
No,
got in the end. Oh my
speaking of
bad.
Beyonce, Cowboy Carter is the next theme of the latest album.
Yeah.
Cowboy
I just,
Carter.
yeah.
Yeehaw!
Mhm.
No, that's it for me. I'm Gucci.
Yes.
Ray, anything from you?
Mm, yeah, like if you're naturally nice, girl, there's probably somebody in there that was naturally nice, or a guy there was somebody that was naturally nice. You can't change that. If you can't change it, that means it's your like literally.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't change it, it's in you, and if it's in you, that's you better off. Don't let it be out of you, because that's when things get to changing or whatever. But definitely, I'm not saying be yourself and when you get to these events because you're so nice you have to like dim it down. No, bruh. If you nice, still greet them at the door. Like still say good, whatever the case may be. Don't like
I,
y'all people thinking to you.
I have a question though, but what if a member of that organization told you to tone it down?
Mm,
Tone it down. Um, again, to me, it doesn't negate anything we have been saying this entire call. Because I do want to say that sometimes you may not agree with everybody that's a part of that chapter, right? Sometimes whoever may be, what's the saying? Every alpha ain't my brother, and all my
mhm,
brothers ain't alphas. You feel what I'm
mhm.
saying? So sometimes there may be somebody who may not like you or you may not like. That's sometimes nothing to do with the rest of the members in that org and being chosen. Like sometimes that happens. As people, sometimes we naturally just don't see eye to eye. But again, I don't want to stray anyone from thinking that they have to switch up who they are. Like unless you just realize some things about you where you have to grow up and mature, that's different. But if you're just say a naturally goofy person, naturally outgoing, and someone's telling you to tone it down, yeah, you can maybe look and see, okay, am I trying to do too much, or is this just me? But I feel like if you're really confident that that's just you, that's just you. You can't change that. So if somebody doesn't like that, oh well, it is what
Yep,
it is.
on it right at the end. Like, yeah, they told you to tone it down, but again, if that's you, there is no toning it down. Like, you literally cannot. And the I would more so say definitely don't tone it down, because more people are going to respect the realness and the rawness that you kept. Meaning, hey, although I told them how I felt about them and their personality, they stayed true. You gonna respect that far more than, oh, they listened to me. Like, what? Nah. Shawty stayed true. He stayed true. That's a principle, or that's a that shows so many different, you know what I'm saying, like character traits of yourself. And it's like that one little switch up that you do could alter all them character traits they was about to align with you just staying true to who you are. That- That's all. Bro. Look in that mirror and say, "This is me." And can't nobody.
This is me. That's what she said, dude. I know we had a question. How should you connect with orgs when there are very many events available on your campus? All right, I'm not gonna lie. For those of you all maybe interested in an organization that's not very present on your campus, faith. You just got to faith. And again, this goes back to our conversation of if you really want it, you'll go grad. You know what I mean? Grad is you see whatever is the closest one in your area, or maybe you already know some folks, whatever the case may be. But sometimes it does happen where, say, an organization is suspended on cease and desist, or they just haven't had many members come through in the last recent years. Sometimes it does happen, right? It's very, very normal. But sometimes you just gotta have faith, and if the chance doesn't come, um, before you graduate, then you gotta go to grad option. And if you don't want to do the grad option, then that just tells me that you weren't that interested in the first place. So maybe it was a sign that you weren't supposed to be in it at all. So that's that.
Um, I would add the level of research. One thing I can say is, especially saying, if they haven't like brought a lot of members over the years, there's always still one person, even if that's a professor,
Mm-hmm.
alumni that's working on campus. There is somebody that has relations or ties to that last person, whoever, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
that came through. And it's like MC said, if you want it, you're gonna go get it. You're gonna do that research that you need to get to that level. And sometimes you can be the change for the culture
Facts.
on the campus. Like, you literally can be the change that, boom, we didn't have much shine on campus. Now we're gonna have shine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be that one that gotta take it for the team and bring it back alive. So never not do research. Like, never stop seeking. Just cautious on who you verbalize, you know what I'm saying, your research to. Like, you could be doing research and you keep it straight in your head, and it
Mm.
and the person that you're talking to, it shouldn't be publicized that you trying to, you know what I'm saying, oh, resurrect, or how people be saying, bring it back to the yard. Like, nah, like that's,
Activation line.
yeah. Mm-mm. Do your research, boom. It's your time, like he said. Then so be it. And guess what? You're gonna have all the attention, all the love, because you just bought it back, you know? And then from there, keep doing the work. But if it's not your time, grab. Never stop seeking, never stop.
We didn't even get into discretion, but that might have to be a part three. That's it. We can go all day about discretion.
Mhm.
Um, just
No,
do your
for real.
research. Look up what discretion is, and you'll see. You'll see what we're talking about.
Mhm. Yep, yeah.
Brooke, I think you
Yeah,
you
you
made
on mute, baby girl.
Thanks, y'all.
you
I
got
was
it. You
having
got
technical
You about to get to the
difficulties.
monologue.
The
it.
Bowie State Wi-Fi is not too good right now, but I was saying that y'all really dropped insightful information today, and I hope all of our viewers really gain something out of this. But do we have any closing words today? Is everybody's heart, mind, souls clear? Anything?
Follow. Make sure that again you look back at this live because it'll be saved, so you can go to recap some of the gems that we said today. Follow me on Instagram, man, at I am Project MC. See y'all next Tuesday.
Right. Make sure you guys follow me at Dawson Rains on Instagram and even on YouTube. Check out my content, but definitely go back, watch this live. It's gonna be here. It ain't going nowhere.
Facts.
Period. Like they said, y'all. Thank you all for having me. Your girl Ray
Thank
be
you.
checking out.
You.
But you can follow me at Unique Ray where you gonna catch more Reezy content. And yeah, y'all, be discreet with anything you aspire to be and be yourself.
Thank y'all once again for tuning in to your favorite show on Tuesdays, the Campus Rundown Show, with your favorite host, No Shade MC, B
Oh,
Ricky.
bro, I
But
let you
we
rock
are
today.
thank you. But we are signing out. See y'all next week.
Toodles.
Bye.
Happy spring break.
Past the midterms, y'all.
For sure.